Okay, so I don't know if this is like take 15 or not, but it took me about 3 or 4 tries on this manifold to get it lined up with this up pipe to where it only leaks this much right here. Both connections at the collector are leaking a minute amount. Very, 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 very small amount. And then over here, you got a little teeny tiny bit coming out of there as well. Overall, we have a Dorman OBS manifold. We have Dorman up pipes with a factory style T4 collector. And then I have a Dorman Super Duty exhaust manifold. Technically, I could have used the old body style manifold on that side, but we had 5 manifolds show up for the old body style on that side, and they all look like such pieces of shit, I would never put it on the truck. The Super Duty one looked pretty good, so we used it. Over here, I would have much rather have used the Dorman Super Duty manifold that we had. It fit the best, it looked the best, the machining was the best, everything was the best in terms of Dorman quality with that particular manifold. However, we also had to get 5 old body style manifolds on the driver's side. We tried Dorman, TQR, and maybe some other brand or whatever. One of the Dormans was what I would consider acceptable. Like the holes for the exhaust ports were milled pretty good. They lined up with the exhaust ports on the head pretty good, pretty well, whatever you want to say. I don't care. My nice little cheap Pittsburgh because I couldn't find my snap-on boy. But it took a little bit of coercion to get this pipe lined up, and I eventually loosened this here. Well, I couldn't even get the pipe on, but I loosened everything all over here again. Had to retorque everything. It took me 2 or 3 times putting this damn thing on. This one on in order to get it lined up with this pipe real good. Overall, this is by far and away the best fitting, best working, meaning least amount of leaks setup that I've put on the truck. I can't, you know, I got better, or I got less leaks here when I used the bellowed up pipe setup and I used, you know, a donut gasket instead of a flat flange gasket. I definitely got less leaks here, but that collector that was for the bellowed up pipes doesn't fit these pipes. And then just I couldn't get the other pipes to even, I mean, hell, the one pipe was almost an inch short on every single bellowed up pipe I tried. I don't believe that you should have to stretch that pipe almost an inch in order to make it work, because I also got a factory forge setup and it fits right in. It literally lines up and touches right there like it should. The Dorman setup lines up and touches just like it should. Every single one of the pipe systems lined up and touched over there. I can't see how one side does not need to be stretched out and the other side does. And I'm not talking like 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. I'm talking like 7/8 of an inch. I think that's just way too much. So I did use all of the Dorman hardware that came with it. Honestly, I'll probably swap it out for my stainless steel stuff now that we've got I think a final product. I do have one more bellowed up pipe kit on the way, but I'm gonna measure it. If this pipe is 7/8 of an inch shorter on the other one that came in the mail, I'm not even gonna try messing around and putting it on. I already know what the measurements need to be now. I'll post that as well. If they're not a certain length, I wouldn't even waste my time putting them on unless you have a Super Duty exhaust manifold. I guess I will do that. Even if it is short, I'll swap out a Super Duty exhaust manifold on there. But overall, I would say there's, I don't know, I'm gonna make something up here, 5% exhaust leaks right now out of this setup. And this is all much better than any of the other setups that I've tried. I do have one more setup to do, and it's probably gonna include having to swap that out back to a Super Duty manifold, but we'll see. So that's all for now. That's just another couple of hours worth of work we put into this, trying to figure out, you know, what's gonna be the best bet for this customer. And I can't stress how often I like to get rid of these guys right here and go to a bellowed setup. But when the aftermarket bellowed setups are less desirable than even the cheap Dorman shit, it just kind of sucks. especially when the aftermarket setups are like twice as much money. But I'll let you guys know here in a minute.